Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a magical day so far. In today's video I'm going to be giving you my ultimate guide to Walt Disney World, from booking to planning to my best tips and tricks so that you can have the best trip possible on your next holiday. I know this process can be so overwhelming for so many people. I remember the first time I tried booking the Disney World holiday for my entire family. What's the dining plan? How many resorts are there? What's the size of Walt Disney World? Like, honestly, I think unless you know how crazy Walt Disney World is, I think you could go so amiss of so many amazing things. Also, with everything going on in the world right now, some of my tips and tricks might not exactly apply for this moment. In the UK, like I am, we can't travel anywhere unless it's essential, which unfortunately going to Disney World is not. We've got to protect our NHS, stay at home and, you know, try and come out this the other side. I personally won't be going back until everything's back to how it was pre-COVID, you know, with the fireworks, the parades, the resorts and restaurants being open. I don't really want to go to paying all that money to go to Disney World to wear a face mask around either. That's just my personal opinion. I know so many people are happy to go back, but I can't afford to go as often as I wish I could. I just want to try and keep as optimistic and positive as possible and hope that I can give you any new updates, any Disney World news that might impact your next trip, COVID or not COVID related. So yeah, let's grab a cuppa and let's get started. Also, I anticipate this video being quite long, so I will timestamp the video in the description below for anyone who's looking to skip to the booking, the planning, tips, tricks. I'm gonna kind of go through the booking process, then the planning process, and then kind of do general Disney World tips and then go through by park. So yeah, this is really the ultimate guide to Disney World. Let's go. Okay, first off, the booking. Yes, a lot of you probably know this is probably the most complicated part. Some people can rush into it and end up paying way above price than they need to. There are so many different providers. Some people prefer booking directly through the Disney company. Some people prefer shopping around, you know, flights, hotels, tickets, everything separate. I'm going to give you my personal opinion and things I've learned from other Disney vloggers and try and just accumulate all my knowledge together for you. I think one of the biggest things you have to consider when planning a Disney World holiday is the time of year you're going to go. When to go. There is 365 days in a year. What couple of days, weeks, however long you're going for is the best for you and your family or your party, whoever you're travelling with. The one thing to consider is weather. Florida weather can be crazy. In the summer it is the hottest, it's very humid, there is love bugs everywhere, which I'll get onto in a bit later. But then going into September through to December, it's hurricane season in Florida, so it can be crazy downpours. But don't forget, no matter what time of year you go, Florida, there can always be a downpour, so be prepared. Another thing to consider is school holidays. And if you're from the UK, you know when your school holidays are probably, you know, your Easter, your October half term, your summer holidays, but it's also important to consider the US holidays, like your Thanksgiving, your 4th of July, your spring break. Google it and then you'll be able to find out what the dates will be for the year you're planning on going, because there will be probably prices increasing, capacity will be a lot bigger, and I just think you're probably better off, especially if it's your first time. You don't want to be part of that. There's nothing extra special going on. It's just people like to spend the holidays in Disney World, which I cannot blame them for. Third thing, which a lot of people might not realise, is the festivals and events that Disney will put on every year. So there are festivals in Epcot, there are the Halloween parades, the Christmas parade, there are some amazing things that Disney put on, and they aren't just a one-day thing. Like they normally run for a couple of months at least, giving you time to maybe strategically plan when you go. For example, in Epcot you have the Flower and Garden Festival, which runs from about March to the end of May, and then there is Food and Wine Festival in September to about, I think it's September to November time, but it's easy just to check. I don't know what the dates are changing for 2021, but basically what the festivals are is, in the Flower and Garden there are food booths all over the world showcasing Epcot, and everyone who works in that pavilion is from the country that they're representing. So example, there's the UK, France, Mexico, Canada. All the people who work in those places are from that country. But in recent Disney World news, apparently Disney have now severed their ties with Morocco. I don't really know too much about what's going on there. I just heard it in one of Tim Trekker's videos, so if you don't know who he is, I definitely recommend watching him. He's a great YouTuber and he posts a lot of Disney content, which we all need right now. So another big thing to consider is where to stay. And I know it's a massive question for so many people. There are a lot of Disney resorts, which is called on property, and then there are off property, so there is loads of nearby hotels to Disney, and there's also things like villas which you can stay at. There's just so many options. Florida is massive. I'm going to talk about my personal opinion when it comes to staying on property versus off property. So, Disney resorts, the big question. There are so many to choose from, it is ridiculous. Like, honestly, there is a lot. And Disney have tiered them into a value, a moderate and a deluxe. A lot of the time, especially for us in the UK, there are free dining offers throughout the year where you can get a thing called a dining plan included with the price of your hotel stay. And I'll go on to talk about a bit more in detail about the Disney dining plan in a second, but I'll quickly tell you what's included with depending on which tier you stay in. Value, you tend to get the, I think it's breakfast or quick service now, they've changed it recently, included with your price. Then if you stay in a moderate, you get the quick service dining plan included, and then you have your table service, which is part of the Disney dining plan, the standard Disney dining plan. What is a quick service credit? A quick service credit is basically you can use it on any counter service restaurant in Disney World on property, so any of the parks, any of the resorts, anything in Disney Springs where you go up and order at the counter and take the food with you. That's the standard quick service, and it's not just chicken nuggets and chips as many people have. That's one of the main misconceptions of Disney. There are honestly some incredible quick service restaurants which I can go on and tell you about a bit more later. A table service credit is where, as it kind of says, you are served to your table by a cast member. It tends to be, you know, your standard, your starter, main course, dessert kind of restaurant. Some of these restaurants can be like $60 per person in your party, so you could go for a meal that's worth like $200 with tip included, and you've not had to pay for that because it was included with your free dining. We did that several times with places like California Grill, which is actually 2 table service credits, so you can accumulate your credits, so you don't have to have 1 table service that day. You could eat off property and then use the 2 table service credits to go to even a more expensive restaurant like Cinderella's Royal Table, which is inside the castle, which is amazing. Yeah, there is quite a few restaurants that are 2 table service credits, but in my opinion a lot of them are worth it. It just depends on how much you're willing to eat. If you drink alcohol, you know, it really depends. As you as a party, you have to really consider if you would only eat maybe 1 entree, you wouldn't have a starter, you wouldn't have a dessert, and you don't drink, it might not be saving you any money at all. But if it's the free dining plan, chances are you're doing yourself a favour. They do include alcoholic beverages as well, so if you are over the age of 21 you can enjoy that perk. You get 1 drink included, whether it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, with your meal, and then you have to pay for any extra on top of that, and you get a main course and dessert as well, so you don't get your starters included. So if you did want to get a starter, you can order that separately as an extra charge. And if you do want to see any of the menus, or you don't have a clue about the restaurants in Disney World, you can go on the Walt Disney World website and look on all the menus of the restaurants there. Some of them are closed at the moment, but their menus are all there for you to see. And you can upgrade from the Disney dining plan to the deluxe dining plan. If you want to go on all the craziest, most fanciest, expensive meals, then maybe it's the right decision for you and your family. But I did the standard Disney dining plan in 2019, and it was perfect because we wanted to try all the amazing meals and kind of save ourselves a bit of money. But my tip is to use up your snack credit. For the quick service and table service, you get 2 snack credits per day per person. And you don't have to use them on that individual day. You can accumulate them all and use 10 one day if you wanted to and none another. And it sounds obvious, but you might think, oh, I shouldn't waste a snack credit on a bottle of water, I'll just pay for that. But we ended up having so many snack credits left over. Honestly, just use them up, because you might not be in Disney every day anyway. If you want that bottle of water, you get that bottle of water. If you want that churro, you get that churro. Just do it, just use them up. And if you end up wanting more snacks and you've used them all up, then you pay out of pocket. Of course, there are better uses of snack credits if you are wanting to exploit Disney for as much money as possible, I can recommend, especially if you're going during a festival, an Epcot festival, is to use your snack credits around the booths, around World Showcase. Some of them are like $5 to $7, if not more, and they can be quite filling. Like, some of them are quite big. Yeah, if it's a snack credit, you don't even have to use your table service or your quick service credit. It's great. But if by the end of your trip you do have some snack credits left over, that is totally fine. What I recommend is going to either the confectionery at Main Street or Goofy Candy Co in Disney Springs and buying loads of your favourite treats that you've tried, whether it's your Rice Krispie treats or your cookies, or going to Ghirardelli's and getting loads of chocolate. This can be used as gifts for relatives back home or for yourself, and also it's good for curing Disney blues, because you will have Disney blues once you get home if you're anything like me, and having a little mini Rice Krispie treat just kind of makes you, it smells like Disney, it tastes like Disney, and it'll just kind of lift your spirits a little bit. Another thing to consider if you do want the dining plan and do want to stay on property is that it can take up a lot of time. Some of their meals can be like 1 to 2 hours because they're a proper authentic restaurant experience. I don't think I've explained the Disney dining plan very well, so if I haven't, I will link to an article below where they explain it perfectly. It makes great sense, and if you have any questions, please just ask me in the comments down below. I will be able to answer it. It's just a lot to think like in my head right now. So the perks of staying in a Disney resort: you have free transportation. There are buses at every single Disney resort hotel which take you from all 4 parks, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom, as well as the 2 water parks, Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, and Disney Springs. So yeah, they have a schedule at the bus stop of each hotel which you can see, which updates constantly to let you know when the next bus for each park is. It's a great service, air conditioned, big spaces, and drops you right at the entrance of the park, which is amazing. Another thing is the new extra magic hours that Disney have just offered. They used to open certain parks from, so maybe Magic Kingdom was open for an extra 2 hours one night, and then the next one at Animal Kingdom opened an hour earlier than the other parks, but they've just announced that they're changing that, and they're going to open all parks at the same time for an extra hour in the morning. You are in the Disney bubble, and for some people that's just not what they want. They like to experience more of America, more of Florida. As a first time, I would really recommend staying in Disney property. It is more expensive, but you know, the cast members are just incredible, the atmosphere is amazing, the theming is just magical. Yeah, it's just great. There also is mousekeeping, haha, yep. For every night of your stay, there will be a maid come in and clean your room for you for when you get back after a long Disney day at the parks, and they will maybe add a little bit of Disney magic to your room as well. I recommend tipping them a couple of dollars every night, and don't do it at the end of your trip, because normally the mousekeeper might change every single day or every couple of days, so it's nice that every single mousekeeper that cleans your room gets a little something. You don't need a car, and I know a lot of people like to have a car if you're old enough to drive when you're in Florida, but personally, cars for me, nah, because basically it is about $18 to $20 to park your car per night at your Disney resort, which is just crazy, plus petrol, and then if you drive yourself to a park, you have to also pay for parking, and then after the end of a big long day in the parks, you get back to your car and it is so hot in there, you're queuing to get out, you have to try and find your car amongst thousands of cars everywhere, and in my opinion it's just a lot more faff. And I know for some people that's fine, they want to drive around, they like being in control of that is fine. But personally for me, staying in Disney Resort and having the free transportation, the buses everywhere, Uber even is great. It's just, to me, you're in the aircon, you're not having to stress about knowing where to go in a foreign country. Just a lot more stress-free for me. And also, you're so close to the parks. I mean, depending on where you stay, I mean, we stayed in Port Orleans French Quarter in 2019. We were a boat away from Disney Springs. Some of the resorts have other modes of transportation, not just the buses. The buses are just standard at every resort. Some have the new Skyliner, which I'm so excited to try on my next trip. The Yacht and Beach Club and the Swan and Dolphin Disney partner hotels, they also offer a boat system, and there is some resorts that offer the monorail system, so if you stay in the Disney, the Magic Kingdom area deluxe resorts, as in the Contemporary, the Grand Floridian, the Polynesian. They offer a monorail system which goes on a loop to the Magic Kingdom, which is very cool to do, and I'd highly recommend, if you can afford to stay in one of those hotels, I would definitely recommend doing, if you love Disney and love the Magic Kingdom especially. One of the other big downfalls that Disney have announced recently, which I am really upset about, is the Magical Express. And for a lot of people it was a great perk and a great reason to stay at Disney. So basically at Orlando International, when you arrive, you get your luggage, go downstairs to the ground floor, and you can basically get on the Magical Express, which takes you directly to your resort for no extra charge at all. It was free for all Disney hotel guests arriving at the airport, and it was a great service. It's a Disney themed bus. They play a Disney welcome video. It just starts off your trip so magical. It's just like the nicest feeling, getting on that bus and knowing that you're in a Disney bus going to Disney World, being driven by a Disney cast member. And I'm really gutted that they have severed their contract with Mears, who provided the transportation. Mears have said that they will continue to do some kind of service, and Disney have also announced that they are currently creating a direct train that goes from International Airport to Disney Springs, in which guests can then get a boat or a bus to their resort from Disney Springs, but there will be no service that Disney provide that goes straight from the airport to the resort, apart from Disney minivans, which is something they offer through Lyft. But there is something where you can pay, I think it's like $150 one way to go from the airport to your Disney resort. It's a lot of money. It's basically a van with red and white polka dots like Minnie all over it. It's driven by a Disney cast member. They play Disney themed music. That is a service they offer, and they also offer it instead of like an Uber. You can do it from your resort to a park. On the Disney property, you can basically go anywhere in a minivan, which is operated through the Lyft app, which you can just download on your phone, which is like another Uber basically. So yeah, there is so many perks to staying on property versus off property. It really depends on your family. If you have someone that needs to, if you have young children or someone in your family who might need to rest up during the day, I definitely recommend staying on property. It means that some of your party can stay in the parks and some of your family can just get on the bus, monorail, Skyline or a boat and just head back to the resort by themselves. You're not needing to drive someone away from the parks or getting them to spend $20, $30 on an Uber to get back to your hotel. And also, a lot of the time, which is like a hidden thing which not everyone knows about, if you stay at a hotel in Orlando, in the Lake Buena Vista area or wherever you stay, they do have hidden resort fees. So for each night of your stay, you'll be expected to pay about $20, $30 per night extra as a resort fee, which a lot of people don't realise. So they may think they're getting a really good deal, and then boom, you get to check in and you have to pay this lump sum of money. So where to book this amazing holiday that you're already dreaming about? That's a very good question, and there are many options for you. Like I said, some people like to book directly through the Disney company, which is absolutely fine, but sometimes it can be a little bit more pricey. It really depends on the day you're looking. You have to, for me, I just look a lot and try and see if I can find any deals, any discounted rooms, any offers that are on. It really depends. A few of the places that, like third-party places you can look to book is, you know, your Virgin Holidays. I booked through them for my 2019 trip and I thought their service was amazing. We got into the V Lounge at Manchester Airport for free. We had seats in Premium Economy, which is upstairs in a little bubble, which is so cool. And if you can afford to get an upgrade and there's a good deal on it, definitely recommend doing that. You don't have to book that at the time you book. You can look at it in a few months, just before your trip, even on the day if they've got any availability, and they might be able to bump you up. Another place is the UK-based travel agent Ever After Holidays. I found out through them through Adam Hatton, which is a Disney vlogger. If you don't know who he is, definitely go and check him out. They do holidays for Disneyland Paris, Disney World, Alani, the cruises. Just give them a call and they can do everything. I'm currently on their Disney World 2022 waiting list, but I've always had really good experiences with those guys. You can look at Magic Breaks. They're another UK based company. I I've found theirs to be a little bit more expensive when I've looked recently, but I haven't used them before, so I can't say they're either good or bad. So a place called Attraction Tickets Direct, they do Disney hotels and Disney tickets and your Universal and other excursions, etc. But they don't do flights, so it might be that you get a really good deal with them for the resorts and the tickets, and then you book your flights separately. Just a quick reminder that other parties, including Virgin, Attraction Tickets, Ever After Holidays, you can get the dining plan through them. You do not have to book directly through Disney to get any of the perks. Another quick note that I thought I'd just mention, if you have young children who are different ages, I would wait until all of them were tall enough to ride all the rides. There's been many times where I've seen Disney cast members fed up with families trying, like, complaining to them about how their kid should be allowed on the ride, they're this age, blah 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 blah, but they're not tall enough to ride. And there's a reason that those are in place. It is dangerous, and Disney want to keep everyone as safe and as happy as possible. You can find all the height requirements, you just Google it, they're on the Disney website. Same with Universal. It might be better to just save up for a few extra months, a few extra years, and wait till everyone can ride everything. Okay, next onto planning. Now, the big question is, how much do you plan? Some people like having an itinerary down to the T. This is when we're doing this is when we're doing that. I am more that way than being free-spirited and just being like, yeah, we'll do whatever. Some people like that, that's fine. But with Disney World, you have these things called fast passes and your ADRs, which are advanced dining reservations. And they do require some planning. Basically, a fast pass is a time where you can go and ride without the queue. So say there's a 40-minute queue for Slinky Dog Dash, but you have a fast pass, you can just go straight to the front of the queue, and it's no extra cost. That's a misconception. You do not have to pay for fast passes. They are included with every single park ticket. You just have to know when to book them. So if you are staying on property currently, it is 60 days out, and if you aren't staying on Disney property, it's 30 days out. So that's another bonus for staying on Disney property. You get 30 days before the rest of the people visiting Disney World on those dates that you're going. You can try and get the best fast passes possible. There are many different fast passes that you'll definitely want, like your Slinky Dog Dash, your Tower of Terror, your Flight of Passage, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. These fast passes go like that. It's crazy, and if you know all this before you go and you have that, and you know that you get to ride the best rides without having to queue for like an hour, sometimes 2 hours depending what time of year you go, it can be crazy, and nobody wants to stand in line for 2 hours every day. There are also ADRs, so they're your advanced dining reservations. If you are staying on property, you can book these 180 days in advance. And I know that sounds absolutely crazy, booking a meal 180 days before you go. Like, how do you know what you want to eat on that day? You might not fancy that. And if you're one of those people, that is absolutely fine. You don't have to do it. It is a service that Disney offer to their guests. You will need a valid park admission for that restaurant. If there is a restaurant you want to try in a different hotel than the one you're staying at, or if you're not staying at Disney Hotel, you don't need to have a reservation there. You can just book your ADR and turn up on the day, and they will let you in, and that's absolutely fine. You can walk around any Disney resort without a problem. If you are going to book any of your table service restaurants, I recommend avoiding 12 and 2 and 5 and 7, so the main lunch times and the main dinner times. This way, if you can't get fast passes for those times, it's a good time to try and jump in line somewhere. As a lot of people are going off eating, you can go off and sneak on some of the biggest rides that you couldn't get fast passes for, or that you really want to ride again. So as I said, with planning, it can be a lot. I mean, booking fast passes 60 days in advance and restaurants 180 days in advance. Some people don't like to be stuck to a military style itinerary, and I completely get it. If you've got kids or you've got some elderly relatives travelling with you, it can be a nightmare. You could get really tired and jet lagged one day and just want to lie until 11 o'clock when you had fast passes for 9 and 10. You can just cancel them. Try and cancel them if you can. It gives someone else a chance to grab one last minute on the My Disney Experience app. If you do have a dining reservation though, it is worth noting that you have to cancel 24 hours in advance at least, so that you don't get charged a deposit, because normally when you book your ADR, some restaurants do require like a payment hold. No money will come out of your account unless you fail to turn up at your reservation. I did plan my ADRs and fast passes accordingly to each other, so if I knew I was going to Magic Kingdom that day and I wanted to do Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Space Mountain and Splash Mountain, I would book those fast passes for that day, and then I'd book a Magic Kingdom restaurant so that my family weren't being dragged from one side of Disney World to the other which is, it's a massive place. Like, I think it's the size of like Greater Manchester. I think it's the size of the whole of Manchester, which is crazy. Like, it blows my mind every time I think about it. So yeah, just a word of warning, like, you need to kind of get your bearings with the size of Disney World, like where all the different parks are. Another tip with the size of Disney World being as it is downloading the My Disney Experience app. The My Disney Experience app is how you will book your fast passes, how you will book your ADRs, so it's good to download it as soon as you can. There is a map of each park on the app, which is in live time, of the wait times. So I could go on it now, My Disney Experience. You know what, I'll actually do it for you now. This is where you will make all your reservations. So yeah, as you say, if you click on it, it's got check dining availability. You can order your food through mobile order, which I'll talk about again later. And you can also, what's included with your Disney hotel is the memory maker. So throughout Disney World, you will find photographers, if you meet characters or just through the parks, who can take some incredible photos for you and your family. Some of them have got magic shots where they will add like a little character to it, sprinkle a little bit of pixie dust on them for you, and they're all included. They take some really good photos. I've got one here just to show you actually. This is in Hollywood Studios of me and Buzz, and he danced with me, and if the cast member wasn't there, I would not have those memories to look back on. They're amazing. The photopass photographers automatically take the pictures, and then you just scan your magic band and they will download to your app, and you just save them out of there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yeah, as I said then, you can order your food through the My Disney Experience app as well. This is called mobile order, which most quick service restaurants offer and operate. You can basically order all your food and drinks through the app, and if you're on the dining plan, you can use your credits on there. You just click yes, I want to use my credits, or no, I want to pay out of pocket. And if you have a card linked to the app, it's so easy, and you can just pay for it, and you don't have to wait in the big queues. And a lot of people don't realise it. They are at the moment highly encouraging it in the park, so a few people might have caught onto it by the time we get to go. Make it fun when you're planning. Talk to your family about what they want to do. Watch Disney vlogs. Look on the My Disney Experience app, look on the Disney website, look at the menus, look at what rides you think you'd fancy. Read about Disney, go on Pinterest, look at some cool pictures you might want to take, some blogs that you might want to read, just to kind of get your head around it all, because it is crazy. I mean, you're here now, so you must want to know a little bit more about how to book a Disney World holiday. So that's a really good start. There is so many Disney vloggers I could recommend. DFB Guide, they're on YouTube and on Instagram, etc. They give some amazing, they know everything that's new in Disney, all the biggest, latest updates, every newest snack, restaurant that you want to try, they've got it covered. They were a massive help to me when I book holidays. I still watch their videos every week. Tim Tracker, as I mentioned before, he lives in Florida, he's there all the time. You have Adam Hatton, who is a UK Disney vlogger. He was a former cast member in the UK Pavilion at Epcot. And while I'm here, this is gifted, not sponsored. This video is not sponsored, this is not an ad, but this was gifted to me by the Adam Hatton Company. This is his Dream Guide, the 50th anniversary edition, which is this year. Yes, October 1st, 1971 is when Disney World opened, and they're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. His book is concise, it is travel friendly because it's so thin and light, but it's got everything you need to know. So if you do want a little bit of help, or you might want to quickly pull it out of your travel bag or read it on the plane, I definitely recommend Adam's book. I think it's £11.99, but he does have offers. It's on Amazon, it's on his website below, and I'll link it for you guys below. It's not affiliated, but I will link it below for you. Okay, on to my tips in general for the parks. So this isn't park specific, this is just general tips for your overall holiday. For first timers or for special trips, I have some really good advice, I think. Cinderella's Royal Table for breakfast, that is the first meal we had on Disney property. First thing next morning, I booked an early reservation for 8:20 AM at Cinderella's Royal Table, which is the restaurant inside the castle. This one is not a myth, you can dine inside the castle, and the princesses come round and they take pictures with you, and it's just so magical. You get into the park early, as the park doesn't open till 9 normally. so you get to be there before anyone else to get some really good pictures. The photo pass photographers are out normally, so you can get some like empty castle shots, empty Main Street pictures, and then go off to your reservation, and then by the time you've finished, the park will have just opened, so you can get to the rides that you want to go to. I recommend going to the back of the park first, because people kind of rush to the first thing they see, so try and go towards like your Thunder Mountain, your Splash Mountain, and try and get on those rides before they fill up throughout the day. But yeah, Cinderella's Royal Table was amazing. It is a 2-table service credit restaurant, but the food was actually really good. I heard that the food wasn't great, and I had the beef tenderloin, and it was one of my favourite breakfast meals in Disney World actually. I was very surprised, because I was kind of just going for the spectacle. You meet Cinderella downstairs and take a portrait with her, and then you go upstairs into the castle, and it's just amazing. So yeah, if you have young children or are celebrating something, it's a great way to meet loads of characters and get a meal in and get in the park sooner. They do lunch and dinner, but for me the breakfast is a lot more valuable, as it's before the park opens and you get those little extra perks within that. So yeah, definitely recommend that. I also recommend, if you are a massive Beauty and the Beast fan like me, as you might tell by my room and my TikTok if you follow me on there, Beauty and the Beast is like my favourite film of all time. I recommend going to Be Our Guest. Breakfast and dinner are currently quick service credits, which is it's the only quick service restaurant you have to book 180 days in advance. It's the most beautiful quick service restaurant you could probably go to. I've not done it for breakfast or lunch, I've only done it for dinner. With dinner it actually is a 2-table service credit, so it goes from quick service all the way to 2-table service credit. It used to be 1-table service, but now it is 2, and it's a really magical experience. I got to dine in the ballroom and I cried from start to finish. I don't even remember the meal. I was just like bawling. I was in my belle dress, like my Disney bound belle dress. Adults can't wear Disney costumes to the parks, just as an FYI. So a lot of us adults Disney bound, which is really fun. And if you go on my Instagram, you'll see some of the pictures, or watch my previous vlogs, you'll see all my cool outfits. But yeah, you also is the only way you can meet the Beast. So in his library, the Beast comes out and he takes portraits with everyone, and the Beast danced with me and it was amazing. So yeah, I definitely recommend doing that if you're a big Beauty and the Beast fan. The food, I don't remember being incredible, but the great stuff was delicious. Okay, so 2 more things I recommend doing as a first timer or a special occasion is the Keys to Kingdom tour if you are a massive Disney fan and you don't mind hearing about the magic that goes behind the scenes. It is $100 per person. If there's any kiddos watching, I'd skip this bit, but you get to go behind the scenes into what's called the Utilidor, which is all underneath the Magic Kingdom. Again, not a myth, which in Disney terms is called offstage. So everything you see as a guest is on stage and everything behind the scenes is off stage. It's the only opportunity for non-Disney cast members to see this incredible workings of behind the scenes. It was amazing. I highly recommend if you love Disney. You get a lunch included and you get a special pin badge, and yeah, it was really good. And lastly, if it is your first time, soak in the magic. If you don't get to go very often, if it's a once in a lifetime trip for you, sometimes just take a moment, just people watch, just look around and soak in all the magic, because it'll be over before you know it. Before any parade or any show, take your family to the nearest restroom, because you're going to be waiting for a while. Just go and grab some snacks and a Starbucks maybe, get a big drink, some water, some popcorn, Mickey shaped something. I recommend the Rice Krispie treats, and then get a spot for the shows and parades because it fills up quickly. There are many good aircon spots and some charging areas, like the Tangled toilets are a must go to for like a chill out. They have some charging stations for your phone, etc. It's just a really good place to just chill. It's really beautiful. Another thing is to do with merchandise, and I mean Disney do some incredible merchandise, but for those with young children I'd highly recommend buying some of these things before you go, and it'll save you so much money and so many tantrums. You can get all the light up ones and stuff from the UK, get from Amazon or Asda or wherever you shop. I'm sure you can find something. Disney clothing, a lot of money goes into Disney clothing. Like, I mean, for adults I think t-shirts are like $30. I know, and same with children, like their costumes and stuff. If you can get them from the UK, have a look in Primark, have a look on Shop Disney UK. It will stop your children from begging for the overpriced plastic toys in Disney. Obviously, souvenirs from Disney World are next level. I mean, I wish I bought even more than I did when I was there. So I'm not saying don't buy anything, I'm just saying for the things that you can get in the UK, try and get them in the UK. Because it's so much more expensive in Disney. Speaking of merch, there is also the Character Warehouse, which is at one of the Florida malls. I recommend going there early in the morning on a weekday. They have all the leftover merch from like the last season or the last few weeks. They have loads of stuff coming. If they've got excess stock, they put it in the Character Warehouse. If Halloween is just finished, there might be loads of Halloween stuff. There's some great finds that you can get, from clothing to homeware to mugs and pins and even the actual costumes for children. And I think I mentioned this a little bit very briefly before, but there are things called love bugs. So if you're going in the summer season, especially like from like May to like September, October, the love bugs are crazy. They don't hurt you, they don't bite you or anything like that. They're just very irritating. They fly everywhere, and especially if you stood still in queues, they can get very annoying. Okay, I'm going to give you some brief little tips about each park now. So starting off with the main park, Magic Kingdom. It's where the castle is, it's where the classic Disney attractions are, it's where everyone pictures when they think of Disney. The main parade currently in Disney World is the Festival of Fantasy Parade. The best spots I can recommend is either the Christmas shop or where the parade begins, which is just next to Splash Mountain, or my favourite spot is on just outside of Casey's Corner on Main Street, so that you can watch the parade come from the castle, and it's just a really nice spot if you've seen it for the first time. I do recommend though, if you are going on Casey's Corner, to come out about 30 minutes before. The show normally starts at 2 o'clock, I think, 2 or 3 o'clock, so I recommend going to Casey's Corner, grabbing some nice, I think it was pulled pork fries or something like mac and cheese fries. They were really good anyway. Grabbing those, eating them about 30 minutes before the show, get your drink and just sit there and soak up the magic. There are photo pass photographers taking pictures for you. They have some signs that you can use. Yeah, it's great fun. For Happily Ever After, which is the big main fireworks show at Magic Kingdom in the evening, this can get very busy, especially if you're going on a weekend. If there is no Halloween or Christmas parade on, it tends to run every single night. I recommend again getting your snacks, getting your drinks well before, doing a toilet break, and getting there about an hour before. And I know what you're thinking, like an hour before, come on, I'll be able to find a good spot. Oh, people are ruthless at Disney. Honestly, people go crazy to get the best spot. My favourite spot where I got to see it was from just near the partner statue, which is the Walt and Mickey statue just in front of the castle. Then you can see everything, you can see the full projections and you can see all the fireworks. It's really, really good. But if you have seen the show several times, a good spot is in the Tangled bathroom area. It's like behind the castle, just to the side behind, and apparently you get a really, really good view. I've never done it myself, but if you've been several times, it's just a lot quieter. And if you have been to see it many, many times, it's a good time to go on rides. All the rides are still on. There's a ride you couldn't make or you couldn't get a fast pass for it. This is a very good time to try and get those rides in. Okay, now on to Epcot. This is where the big, massive ball, also known as Spaceship Earth, is located. Epcot is going through a lot of construction right now, which it needed, in my opinion. It was very dated when I went in 2019. Obviously some of the things have been delayed due to COVID, but there is still a lot to enjoy. When it comes to rides, there's not a massive selection for thrill rides. It is split at the moment into like a future world and world showcase, so there's a lot of like spacey technology based rides, and then you have the world showcase. If you're over the age of 21, you drink alcohol, it's a really good place to drink around the world, and you can go and get a different alcoholic beverage from all the way around, which is a really popular thing to do. Same with like the food festivals, all the food booths are amazing. There is only a couple of attractions within the World Showcase, like Frozen Ever After, and they are at the moment making the Ratatouille ride from Disneyland Paris. The construction walls have just come down on that, so the ride will be opening hopefully in the next few months, just in time for the 50th anniversary, and I'm hoping to ride it when I go on my next trip. And then in Epcot you have your like test track, and soaring, which is amazing. Mission Space, Living with the Land, which is very, very popular. If you're planning on going to Epcot early, La Hal's Bakery opens before the World Showcase does, and get the croque monsieur. Get the croque monsieur. It is beautiful. It is so nice. Honestly, I'm craving it so much right now. It's a quick service credit with a drink on the dining plan, and it's just beautiful. Now on to my favourite part, which is Hollywood Studios. Yeah, not everyone's favourite. It has undergone a lot of construction recently. There's a lot of new things opened. If you haven't been to Disney in a while, you might not know that they have recently opened Toy Story Land back in 2018, 2019, and then end of 2019 they opened Galaxy's Edge, which is Star Wars themed. Things have changed a lot at Hollywood Studios. There are two big Star Wars rides, Smuggler's Run and Rise of Resistance. One of them is based inside of the Millennium Falcon, and you get to be a different part of the ship crew, and the other one is like a trackless based system, and apparently it is the most immersive Disney World ride they have ever created. For the Rise of the Resistance app, currently you have to get into the park very, very, very early, and they only release a certain amount of boarding groups per day. It's not something you can book in advance. You have to be inside Hollywood Studios by the time that they open the boarding groups and try and snatch one on the day. So some of the restaurants that I can recommend, I went to the Sci-Fi Dining restaurant, and I absolutely love this restaurant. It feels like I was in Grease the movie. It was everything. The food was really good. We had an amazing server. I really like the atmosphere in there. Some people aren't that bothered about the food, but I really enjoyed it. I would definitely go there again on my next trip. Whereas 50s Primetime, which I was probably more looking forward to, which is like family style American food, really cool theming in there. You feel like you're in a 50s house. There's some TVs with like little tables like we had, but our server was just not great. Some of the servers are hilarious, and I've seen many Disney vlogs where the servers are hilarious, but ours was just not. She wasn't happy about me filming, and the food was not good in my opinion, so I would not recommend it, or I wouldn't go again. But that was just my opinion, because I saw other people's vlogs and it made me really want to go, so it just depends. I think Hollywood Studios is not the best place to get like unique snacks, so if there's like Mickey bars and Mickey pretzels that you've wanted to try for ages, I recommend getting them on your Hollywood Studio Park day, as there's not many exclusive snacks. The only one that I had that I can think of was a frozen Coke. It was beautiful, very refreshing, just what I needed on a hot Florida day. There are many shows like Indiana Jones and Frozen. Unfortunately, Beauty and the Beast has closed and it's not coming back, which I'm gutted about. The best rides, Tower of Terror, Slinky Dog Dash, Rock and Roller Coaster are must do. The only one I'd miss in my opinion is Alien Swirling Saucer. Normally the wait isn't very long. If you want to do it, but it's not great. It's a bit underwhelming. It's good for kids, but it's not worth the wait, or definitely not worth a fast pass. And don't forget Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway has just opened, where the Great Movie Ride used to be in the Chinese theatre. I'm gutted the Great Movie Ride is gone, but the new ride there looks really fun, and it's the only Disney ride in the world to be themed to Mickey. So there's a fun fact for you. And don't forget about Fantasmic. That is my favourite show. If you love characters and you love Mickey and you love villains, it is the perfect nighttime show. You can get a fast pass for this, so I don't recommend booking it as your 3 a day. I'd maybe wait to see if once you've used your 3 fast passes up, you can get an additional fast pass for the part that you're in. So if you can, try and get this just so you don't have to wait for an hour before the show. But if you do have to wait an hour before the show, get your Starbucks, get your snacks, and prepare to do the Mexican wave. On to Animal Kingdom, yay! So this park is very humid, very hot, always. The animals are amazing, the safari is so cool. You have Pandora, which I recommend going at night and seeing it all lit up. Flight of Passage, my favourite ride, unreal, such clever technology. Not good if you have motion sickness though. Their quick service restaurant is one of my favourites. It is called Satuli Canteen, and they do like these protein bowls, and it's just really cool. Or the cheeseburger pods, it's like a bao bun style thing, steamed pod. It's really good. They used to have the Rivers of Light show, and I think it's gone now, and I don't think they have a nighttime show anymore. You didn't miss out if you haven't seen it. I really did enjoy it. It's definitely not a park to spend the evening in. It's definitely a park to get there early while it's a bit cooler. Try and do the safari early while all the animals are still cool enough to go out in the sun. The only thing I would do it in the evening is Pandora, and also the tree, I think it's called the Tree Awakening. Right before the park closes, the tree comes to life, and it's really, really magical to see that. So yeah, if you are there at night, go for Pandora and go for the Tree Awakening, but it tends to close earlier than other parks anyway due to the animals. Now onto Disney Springs. This is a misconception about Disney Springs. You don't need to have a Disney ticket or a Disney reservation or hotel or anything to go. It is a hotspot for Florida residents, so if you are planning on going to Disney Springs, try and avoid going on Friday and Saturday nights, on Friday, Saturday days, the weekends, because Florida residents love this place. The restaurants options are amazing, the entertainment is incredible, there is live music, there's lots of shopping, you got like your Sephora's and your Under Armour and your Lego, etc., and the massive, massive World of Disney store, which is, oh, it's so good. It's literally my heaven. Some of the best restaurants I can recommend quick service is the Chicken Guy. It's like chicken tenders, and you can pick from this massive list of sauces, which is really cool, really nice. Lay's, which is like, imagine Subway for pizza. Dream. Absolute dream. And Deluxe Burger. Oh, Deluxe Burger. So good. One of the best burgers I've ever had. Really, really good. I recommend going to Disney Springs if you're planning on doing a water park day or a Universal day and you're on the dining plan and don't want to spend loads of money at Universal because their food isn't great anyway. So yeah, I definitely recommend going to Disney Springs either before or after. They also have some really cool food trucks, and they do like cheeseburger, fries and stuff. Yeah, it was really good. And Sprinkles and Everglazed has just opened, and Gideon's. So if you're a big sweet tooth, unlike me, Sprinkles do some really cool cupcakes. Gideon's Bakery, they had like the longest line ever a couple of weeks ago. It was like an hour, 2 hour return time for a cookie, honestly, but they look unreal. And then for your table service, you have places like the Boathouse, T-Rex, I'd avoid Rainforest Cafe. It's popular, but you can get one there's one in London, like there's one in Animal Kingdom. You can get them anywhere. You kind of want, if you're going to be in Disney and eating Disney, try and get some like special restaurants you can't get anywhere else. Speaking of which, is one on my next trip bucket list is Jaleo's, which is a like tapas Spanish food. I love Spanish food and the food looks amazing there. And then House of Blues for like some really cool like nighttime entertainment. If you drink, it's a really cool place. Got live entertainment, really good alcoholic drinks. Good times for adults in there. For your water parks, you have Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon on Disney, and then you have, if you're going to Universal, you have Volcano Bay. Personally for me, Volcano Bay looks the coolest in theming. There's a big volcano that you can go in. It's the newest of all the water parks, and if you get the 3-part Universal ticket, it is included. Speaking of Universal and the 3-part ticket, the best place I've found to get the tickets for these is Attraction Tickets Direct. They do some really, really good offers, and this way you can do, there is Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure and Volcano Bay, so 2 theme parks and a water park. I think it's £228 per adult currently for the 2021. Yeah, so Universal is really, really cool. If you are a big Harry Potter fan or a big thrill ride person like me, it is so good, and it's definitely worth at least a few days of your trip. Must-do rides include the 2 main Harry Potter ones, so the Forbidden Journey, which is inside Hogwarts. If you don't like rides and you have a massive Harry Potter fan, and recommend just going through the queue ride because you get to go through the whole of Hogwarts, and then just skip the ride at the end. Just ask a cast member, they're not called cast members, Universal. Ask the ride attendant if you can miss out, and they'll show you to the exit. In the other part, they have the Escape to Gringotts, and you can, to get between Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure or Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley, you can go on the Hogwarts Express, but you can only do it if you have the multi-park tickets. In the past year or 2, they've opened, it's called Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure, and that looks really, really good. That is also in Hogsmeade. Other non-Harry Potter rides to do is Transformers, Minions, Simpsons, it's dated but I love it, Spider-Man, and the best ride, Hulk and Rip Ride Rocket. Oh. Rip Ride Rocket, you get to pick your own music and you're literally vertical looking up. So cool. And the Hulk is just rapid, massive monster roller coaster. And they are just almost finished with a brand new roller coaster called it's a Jurassic Park one. Can't remember what it's called now. I also recommend taking a poncho if you're going to Universal, as they have big water rides. And maybe a change of clothing, because you will get soaked on their rides. Rides I'd miss, E.T. I'm sorry, it's a cult classic, I know, but it's just not for me. And also the Fast and Furious ride. Like, it's the only ride with a virtual queue when I went, and I thought, oh my god, it must be really, really good and popular. It was so disappointing. I was like, why is this so popular? Not for me, wouldn't recommend it, waste of time. The food is not the best at Universal, I'm gonna come out and say it. It's overpriced and it's poor quality. I'd recommend on a day where you go into Universal is time to eat. And on International Drive or at the mall, Cheesecake Factory, Olive Garden, etc. And you already have Disney property, so if you're on a dining plan, you can either go back to Disney Springs, but it's a good opportunity to eat at the malls and go shopping because it's literally around the corner from Universal Studios. The other things I would recommend trying in Universal if you are there is the frozen butterbeer. Unbelievable, absolute must do. I did it at least 3 times while I was there. And the ice creams in Harry Potter and all the snacks there are really good. I'd avoid the leaky cauldron. I've heard it's not very good. If you're British and you're used to really good British home cooked food, it won't satisfy your British cravings. But there is City Walk with a place called like Cowfish. You've got like Bubblegum, Hard Rock Cafe. We ate at the Chocolate Emporium, which was really, really nice actually. And there is Voodoo Donuts. So there is really good places just as you go into Universal before you go to either Universal Studios or Island Adventure. There is a big called City Walk with like loads of shops and restaurants and stuff. So yeah, if you are going to eat at Universal, I'd recommend just coming out of the parks for like an hour, 2 hours and eating at one of the restaurants there. At Universal you can also get a refillable mug, which is about $18, and I'd share it between 2 people. You can refill it as much as you want per the day, and then if you come back another day, I think it's about $8 or $9 to be able to use the cup again. And in regards to shows, there is a cinematic spectacular in Universal Studios. It's like a water projection show. Wasn't my favourite, but the Hogwarts projection show in Islands of Adventure is a must do if you're a big Harry Potter fan. It was so good. But it's also a good time to get on Forbidden Journey if you are if you don't want to see the show. If you've seen it before, it's a very good time to get on. It was a 5-minute wait when I was there. The last thing I'm going to mention is things to have with you in the parks. So I have this little pouch. It's a bell, of course, if you can see that. It has blister plasters in it, a mirror, mints. Disney don't sell chewing gum, and also they have a partnership with the airport where they don't sell chewing gum to discourage people from using it in the parks, which is a fun fact if you didn't know. But I have mints, tissues, wipes, anti-bac, sanitizer, a little deodorant, glasses, like glasses cleaner, and sunscreen to top it up throughout the day. I recommend a spray rather than a cream. It's just easier and less messy to put on in the parks. There is a really good fan that all the Disney vloggers use, which I'll link below, from Amazon, which is really good. As well as a cooling towel. You just put it in the water in the bathroom, wrap it around your neck while you're in a queue, and it just instantly cools you down. I'd also recommend trying to change your shoes every day. Your feet get really tired and sore from wearing the same shoes. I kind of rotated like 3 or 4 pairs like every other day. Yeah, it really helped my feet from getting super sore. So yeah, that concludes my video for today. I know it was a really long one, and I probably missed some things out on not explain things fully as I want to. So if you do have any questions, please just drop me a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Message me on Instagram, follow me on my TikTok, join me on my Pinterest account where I've got some really cool ideas for photo spots, and don't forget to subscribe down below. And I hope you have a magical day, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Goodbye!